And does the rhythm tell you come, 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 come? Does your spirit do a dance to this symphony? Yeah, yeah. Does it tell you that your heart is higher? Oh yeah. And does it tell you that your pain is higher? Oh yeah. Does it wash away all your unholy? Well, are you?
The word heritage evokes a sense of belonging, a sense that the past is of vital importance as it shapes and influences the present. Given Grenada's rich and varied history, all dimensions of our island's heritage, tangible, intangible, and natural, merit exploration and preservation in order to promote knowledge of our history, foster a strong sense of identity, and instill pride in our many accomplishments as a people. The publication, Grenada Heritage, a pictorial journey through place and time, takes you on a tour of Grenada's past and explores the history and cultural diversity of our tri-island state. This is indeed a timely and welcome publication given the heightened awareness globally of the importance of heritage to a people's sense of identity and national pride. Grenada, strategically positioned at the southern end of the Caribbean archipelago, is in close proximity to South America. The indigenous people, originally from South America, settled in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and left their footprint on the culture and language of these islands. The verdant mountainous terrain, fertile soil, pleasant climate fueled a rich biodiversity ideally suited to the growth of many tropical crops, fruits, herbs, and spices. Grenada's resources were highly prized and sought after. It is therefore not surprising that during the 17th and 18th centuries, fierce battles were fought over ownership of Grenada, with the island changing hands between the French and the British several times. This period of colonization left a distinct mark on Grenada in a variety of ways. Our tangible heritage is demonstrated in the Georgian architecture seen in many buildings, our intangible heritage in the culture of Africa, the motherland of the majority of Grenadians, specifically in our big drum dance, Baroon Fest, and Shango, and our natural heritage in our verdant forests, waterfalls, and tropical plants. I therefore encourage you to join me on this lively tour of Grenada. As you peruse this book, you will picture yourself hiking through our mountainous rainforests, replete with historical memories, swaying to the enchanting rhythms of our drums, jumping to our lively soca music, enjoying our breathtaking tropical sunsets, diving into the underwater sculpture park, snorkeling in beautiful coral reefs, tasting our exquisite bean-to-bar chocolate, or just simply relaxing with a refreshing rum punch under a coconut tree on Grandad's Beach, and quietly enjoying the company of warm and friendly Grenadians who enthusiastically welcome visitors and returning nationals alike. You will most certainly be enthralled by our island's rich heritage, fascinated by its natural beauty, and mesmerized by its colorful history. Heritage is like a compass or guiding light. It illuminates the past, anchors us in the present, and points the way forward. The Grenada National Trust, aware of the paramount importance of our island's heritage, worked tirelessly to bring this pictorial project to fruition. As patron of the National Trust, I commend all its members on the valuable contribution they have made to the preservation of our island's history. As a proud and patriotic Grenadian, I am immensely pleased with this publication and encourage all to support this groundbreaking work produced by the Grenada National Trust. I am confident that you will enjoy this wonderful and informative journey across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
This book, Pictorial History Through Time and Place, it's about Grenada Heritage. It will appeal to a wide range of readers because it covers several aspects of Grenada. It is meant to highlight what we've had and what we may lose if we are not careful. Now, it is very much like a travel guide. It starts with parish of St. George's, and it goes clockwise around the island, parish by parish, and each parish has its own chapter. Now, at the start of a chapter, you will see a map which will show the areas of interest within that parish, and each area of interest has a photograph and a story attached to it. So as you start each chapter, you see the map, you see the points of interest within that map, and you can plan what areas you would like to visit. Now, the thing is that local families may find that they need to rediscover Grenada. This is a time when you find that tourism might have to look inwards. You might have to take holidays at home. And this is a perfect guide to remind you what's important in Grenada and to explain to you why those areas are important. This would also be useful for visitors. They can study a book like this before they come in so they can plan what tours they would like to take. Or after enjoying a holiday in Grenada, they can take it back as a souvenir and of course share it with their friends who would then become future visitors from Grenada. But this book is not only about touring the island, it's about accurate historical data. And in order to accomplish this, we had to hire some professionals in to assist with the production of the book. So you'll notice that the photographs are by Angus Thompson. He's a well-known Caribbean photographer. He's done several books like this. And the text is by Angus Martin, who is our well-known Grenadian historian. Because ultimately this book could be used by school children, researchers who may need one place where they can look and see the important points of interest in Grenada that need to be preserved and conserved. The reason I started this project was because I went into a lawyer's office in town in the reception and saw some nice pictures hanging on the wall, old pictures of Grenada. And I asked, well, where can I get some of these? And they're very difficult to find. So I started looking for them. And every time I found some, I would share them with my friends on the internet, Facebook. And pretty soon, I had a lot of people following these pictures and asking questions like, well, is there a story behind this? Can you give some more information, please? So I did some research and eventually collected over 1,000 pictures, each with its own story attached. And the next question was then, well, when is the book coming out? Well, that is when things got serious, because when you're doing a book now, it has to have some order and it has to have a flow. So therefore, that's why we decided collectively, Angus Martin, Angus Thompson, and myself, that the best way to represent the information here within is to just have the flow of taking a trip around Grenada and Carriacou, which is the last, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, which is the last chapter. And the book would have that flow. So you drive or walk from chapter to chapter, starting with St. George's, ending with St. David's in Grenada, and then going to Carriacou and Petit Martinique in the sister isle. How many were printed? Well, just a few this time. We did 1,000 books, but because of all the interest shown over the internet, many of them are already pre-sold. So I would advise you to get your copy as soon as you can, because this is the first publication, and it's available here at Art and Soul Gallery and Bookshop, and also in Lagoon Road, if you can't make it this far, at High Tech Printry.
My name is Patricia Marr, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority. I'm here on the waterfront, the beautiful Carnage, which is our signature heritage site and considered one of the most picturesque harbours in the Caribbean. The town of St. George is renowned for its Georgian heritage, and visitors are always impressed with the architecture. Congratulations on the completion of the Grenada Heritage Coffee Table Book. The Grenada Tourism Authority is the main promoter of this project. The Coffee Table Book showcases the rich heritage from the 6 parishes and, of course, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. We at Tourism value heritage as an important product of tourism, and we encourage tour guides to go out and tell the story of Grenada's rich heritage. The book will be used as a marketing tool to promote the unique, authentic experiences, whether you visit a watermill or a sugar mill, a fort or an estate. So kudos to the National Heritage Trust for producing this book, and to the other sponsors, Silver Sands Grenada and Grenada Cooperative Bank, who came on board. The Grenada Tourism Authority will do our part to promote the Grenada Heritage Coffee Table Book.
So I have to say, as Art and Soul Bookstore and Gallery, we are very happy to be able to feature this as one of our best locally made items. It's quite a feat to have a book that's produced completely from within, the author, the editor, the photographers, and we couldn't be prouder than to have this and feature this at the gallery. You can come here to the gallery, or you can go to Art and Soul Bookstore and find it.
This book is a very useful executive gift or family gift for friends. As you can see, there are 2 formats. There's the regular book, which has a dust cover, which can mark the pages and keeps dust off the book. And there's the box set, which is a more executive looking, if you're thinking of a Christmas gift or whatever. This book will be, to many people, very similar to a family album. This is going to be a family album for Grenada, reminding people of what Grenada was before, from the old photos, and what it is now. There are historic buildings and areas of outstanding natural beauty. And that's what makes this a collector's item, because in fact it's the first book that actually documents all of the places of interest that are identified as national heritage sites. So you have the box cover. It's a little more expensive, but it's well worth it, because as a showpiece and as an executive gift, it looks more exotic.
Silver Sands Grenada is happy and proud to contribute to the publication Grenada's Heritage, a pictorial journey through place and time. The cultural and natural heritage of Grenada is what makes us unique, setting us apart from other destinations. It therefore plays an important role in both the marketing and development of our tourism industry. The experiences that luxury visitors are seeking now is evolving. They want to know about our history, our culture, our traditions, how we live, and they too want to experience that through their visits. This wonderful summary of our heritage would sit as a coffee table book in all our rooms, suites, and villas for our guests' reading pleasure, and even take it home with them if they so desire. Therefore, on behalf of our owner, Mr. Naguib Sahiris, and the management and the team here at Silver Sands Grenada, we say congratulations on a piece well done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our virtual launch of Grenada Heritage, pictorial journey through place and time. I just want to add a few notes. I remember when Daryl brought the idea of first doing this book, I really was not interested in doing just a picture book. Yeah, it's nice to have a we've had a number of these pretty beautiful coffee table books. I should say cocoa table books. We don't have coffee in Grenada. We got lots of cocoa, so we're promoting this as a cocoa table book. Anyway, when the idea came up, I wanted to do something that was, I think, a little more interesting. And that's when we, after brainstorming, we came up with the idea of doing a book that have people engage with the island as they travel around. So it was a challenge in the beginning because I was not on the island, neither was the photographer, having to figure out the sites that we had to use, that we wanted to photograph. Then once I got the photographs, trying to design the book, deciding which photographs got in, but also what was really important was the text. We needed to make sure that the information in this book, which is one of the reasons why I signed on to the book, was as accurate as we could get. There are lots of information out there on Grenada that's not always accurate. So we made a really specific attempt to make sure that the information we put in was accurate. I remember one of the things we were working on, trying to figure out exactly where Monkpapa was located, looking at the old maps. I remember I had to call Rolf Ostialik, to kind of figure out, hey, what's your take on this? Because we really had to play with it to figure out exactly where it was, because the official map didn't show. So we tried to get things as specific as possible, so that, because it is a travel book and it was by parish, so we had to make sure that we had that going. But so the information was really checking that. There were times when I left information out because we weren't too sure about it. So that was a major thing for the book and for me, and it's something I really enjoyed doing. It took lots more time than I thought it would, but I really enjoyed doing the book. And I would like to thank all of the people who have supplemented the photographs. We had to get a few images from a few friends to add to tell a better story, or to tell the complete story that we wanted to tell. So thank you to all of those people for assisting us and providing those images. And also Frank and Angus, the photographer, Angus Thompson. Frank, who did the design, we had a lot of back and forth working with him to try and get this right, to tell this in a way. Frank has never been to Grenada, so it was a challenge sometimes trying to get the flow of the photographs right and things like that. But again, please do get a copy. Right now we have a limited supply, but I implore you to get a copy. It's a really cool book, and get your cocoa table book, and do enjoy. Thanks again, and let us know what you think about it. Thanks, everyone. And I guess we open for any questions that anyone may have.
Okay. Well, I guess our next conversation will be with the Ministry of Education, because this is essentially a reference book, an educational book, and we would like to see how it can be shared for educational purposes, research, students doing homework, and so on. So we will keep you posted.
I guess somebody asked about, Edson Worm asked about ebook possibility. Yeah. I guess it's something we can explore. It's not the easiest trying to do a picture book, I guess, but it's something that we will explore. It's come up, but we haven't really explored it as yet. But definitely it's something that we're going to be looking into. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the people who took a risk on us, because we took a little longer than we had planned to, I guess. It's not the easiest of books, especially when everybody was in different places. I think I met with Daryl one time while I was in Grenada. So it was really, a back and forth. And the designer and the photographer in the UK, Daryl in Grenada. I was in the US sometimes in lots of different places. So it really took an effort, and we really appreciate the people that waited. Silver Sands and stuff that waited, because I know they were anxious to get it out.
The thing about a book like this too is that it's a bittersweet thing. We want to showcase Grenada, but it's like a record of what we are slowly at risk of losing. And if we take too long to react, then we can have a problem. If we appreciate things after they're gone, then it's too late. So the main responsibility and objective of this book is to make people aware of what we have, that it has value, and that we should make some decisions about the preservation of our history.
Daryl, that's for you.
Yes, the price is, some of the books would be exported, but they would have to be exported by people who buy them over the counter in Grenada. The price, therefore, is for the basic book, that is with the paper dust cover, 160 EC dollars, 45 US. And the boxed cover is 200 EC, which is 60 US. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's 60 and 75. So it's 60 US for the paper dust cover book, which is 160 EC, and 75 US for the box cover book, which has a solid box cover. It's like a gift pack, which is 200 EC.
Difficult question. Jonathan, the issue, we were trying to figure out exactly where do we place Monquaqua, in which parish. Because everybody would say it's in Granite Tang, and they would automatically say it's in St. Andrews. But it's actually, if you look at the map, it would indicate that it's really on the border. You may begin in St. Andrews, but you might actually end up in St. George, or even So it's right in the boundary of those the border of the three parishes. So we actually, I remember, had to check with Rolf, because we were using his maps, and Haron was actually putting information on those maps for us. So we needed to get that point clear so that we could put it in the specific parish where we wanted it. So that's why we had to debate it a bit. So we had to look at a few maps to decide, where the mountain range, the top of the mountain actually is, compared to where you actually start off and walk around, kind of thing. So that's why it was a little bit challenging for that side. Overseas, Daryl, you wanna?
Well, some books are already in the UK, a limited quantity, and they're being sold through a bookstore there. But the problem was getting the books to the US and getting a US distributor. And the cost of mailing one book at a time is significant. So what we are looking at immediately is that people will away who, let's say in North America, Canada, USA, would have a friend in Grenada or a relative that they can say, look, just go buy the book and mail it to me, please. But if there's a distributor in the US or Canada, a popular spot for perhaps Caribbean people, because we expect this to be purchased by the diaspora, really, then we could look at ocean freight of a few boxes up to that distributor. But just simply mailing them one at a time, it's prohibitive.
I guess one of the things the book, even though the book is a nice book to give as a gift, it's a good memory book on Grenada. I think it's essential for people to recognize that this really is about preserving Grenada's Grenada's heritage, natural and cultural heritage. So we need this book to be at the forefront of the things we need to preserve, the landscapes we need to preserve, the buildings we need to preserve, the things we need to preserve that tells Grenada's history and culture. So we do want people to recognize that this is really about how do we go about preserving Grenada's history and culture by the things that we looked at, and there might be more to add later on as well, but these are the things that jumped out at us, and that's why we came up with the book. So we definitely want people to take a look at that and recognize that. Please help us become the advocates for the preservation of Grenada's heritage.
Now you may remember what happened in Paris, France, just under a year ago. One of their historic landmarks caught fire because the government had considered budget cuts, and they thought, well, there are other priorities. And of course, after the Louvre caught fire and was nearly totally destroyed, the outpouring of grief and feeling by the French people, they demanded that the government correct the situation immediately at a much higher cost, because rebuilding costs more than maintenance, because there was much regret. So, and you may remember that a few months ago, one of the historic sites in Grenada, Dougalston, there was a big fire, and it was one of the destinations that the tourists would go to, and a significant building there was destroyed by fire. So, we suffer the same perils, and we would suffer the same regrets if we don't consider tourism, heritage tourism, as a significant revenue earner. It has great potential. It can employ people in the area as tour guides and caretakers and so on. There could be entrance fees. And we need to invest a bit in our heritage sites and make them part of our tourism project. In fact, the external advisors and consultants have already told us, it's part of the tourism plan, that's what would make us unique. I mean, there's terrific competition now worldwide, tourist destinations, very good value for money, low prices, and so what makes you unique? You need to promote your history as part of your tourism. So then people come here looking specifically for that. It's something to do after you've had a nice day on the beach, and to fill out the rest of the time that you're on island.
But I think one of the things that we definitely will look into is finding somebody in the U.S. that would be able to distribute the books for us.
Yeah.
Because we know that there are quite a bit of people there that are interested in getting copies.
Yeah. I just want to correct something I said. I said Louvre, it was Notre Dame Cathedral, the fire in Paris.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, that right now there are two sites in the north of the island that are suffering from a lot of erosion and loss of artifacts. The main one now is St. Patrick's Beach, where Amerindian remains being unearthed by the action of the sea as the coastal erosion increased further down by Mount Rodney Bay. And archaeologists are rushing there in a panic to try to see what could be done, because you're washing away some of your history. We need to understand how people lived hundreds of years ago. There are things that are buried people which tell their story, and we can't have things like grave sites being either looted or eroded like that. The same problem occurs on the east coast of Carriacou at Thibault Cemetery. The waves are just washing away, and there's no money for any kind of sea break or money to accelerate the amount of archaeology and research and excavation being done there. Pearl's Amerindian site is just left to its own defenses. There's a certain amount of looting there as people collect souvenirs, but we need to preserve these sites, and we need for the people of the country to appreciate that it should be a national priority, because governments respond to the people. If people say they want to conserve a particular national park or an area of beauty that they're accustomed to going to with their children, and this has happened for generations, it becomes not just any other piece of real estate. It becomes somewhere special, somewhere of emotional memory for people. So we live in a world now where we need people to send the governments clear signals what the priority should be. We are facing COVID, and COVID is a challenge of economy versus personal safety. And every country is experimenting with this, and it depends on the reaction of the people. The politicians decide whether the priority should be human safety or getting the economy back going. So we need people to become more proactive, have more public discussion, send clear signals to government as to it, because that's what democracy is. It's an exchange of information between the public, the voters, and the government that is elected to manage the country. We need more communication.
Independence. We do not have specific information on events, because most of the information in the book is tied to a place. So we might mention something about independence when we talk about Parliament, but we don't have, it's not about the events, it's about the places.
Right. I just want to answer the question on the school curriculum. The next project we're working on, which we hope will be activated in January 2021, because we're just looking for funding now. We started doing a lot of work on it before the application for the grant assistance, because it's only assistance. Remember, the international donors expect at the local level a certain amount of effort to be made, and then they can come in and help with whatever shortfalls you may have. So, and that is an education program. What we are looking at is not introducing heritage as a separate subject in school on the curriculum, but seeing how heritage items could be added to existing subjects like history, geography, economics, and so on. And we have partnered with one school already, the Grace Lutheran, where it was easy, being a private school, to convince the principal and have some collaboration there. And that's where the pilot is being run. And we are hoping that fairly soon the grant funding will come through, and we can have a longer conversation with the Ministry for Education to see how this project, which is an experiment, could be tested in other schools around Grenada. But it will create interest amongst the children, day trips and treasure hunts, and going out to sites and trying to understand what is happening in the ecology, whether it is conservation of nature or whether it is looking at restoration of historic sites. And I shouldn't really say restoration. It is just halting the decline, further decline, so that they could be admired and enjoyed, and future generations will get the benefit.
Hey, Daryl, when can people come to Grenada? I would like to know, since I haven't even seen a copy of the book myself, the actual book, since I haven't been able to get a copy yet.
Well, we in the old pirate days and in recent times, historically, even, we had something called Through the Chute, where there was a sort of gray corridor where people were traveling up and down. It was unofficial. There was a lot of smuggling, all around the islands. But it's a different world now. When a border is locked down, it is literally locked down. So, and that is the challenge with traveling now, because with COVID, the wave going up and down, we don't traveling now. It's a and at least there's ocean freight. The borders are not closed to ocean freight, but simple things like air freight, like to where you are, it really requires airline travel, and the airlines, well, we know the situation there. Air charters are expensive, and it would be a challenge to see how we're going to get air movement again for people if there has to be social distancing on the aircraft. Just like with our buses, all public transportation systems are under severe challenge now from an economic point of view. Can governments afford to subsidize and pay for 2 or 3 empty seats so that the owner of the transport can still run a successful transportation business? This is a huge challenge. So I think we better look, Angus, at sending you that boat, that book by boat, even if it takes 2 months. It might be quicker than by air.
Yeah, well, we just re-locked down again. So
yeah.
So we're definitely. It's hard to imagine when this is going to end. So
yes. We have to think of that new world, a new way, and that is why the ebook might be useful.
Yeah,
that will take some while.
Right.
That's a separate project.
Yeah, I will definitely look into that and see.
Yeah.
How we can do that. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess we don't have any more questions, Darryl. I don't know what you.
That should be it. Yep. That's a wrap.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay, just want to thank everybody for logging in to our virtual book launch. When we planned the book launch originally, we thought there'd be a huge cop. We'd all socialize a bit, but we know that's out now. So I think if you have a drink at home, you can pour yourself one at the appropriate time. So cheers, everyone, and thanks for your support.
Again, thank you to everyone who has played any part in putting this together. It was a long process, but I think what we got in the end was a really nice book. I think a nice keepsake to be used for different things by different people. So try and get a copy, and thanks for your support.
Can you hear a distant drum bouncing on the laughter of a melody? Yeah, yeah. And does the rhythm tell you come? Does your spirit do a dance to this symphony? Yeah, yeah. Does it tell you that your heart is higher? Oh yeah. And does it tell you that your pain is higher? Oh yeah. Does it wash away all your unlovely? Well, are you